So today we are going to revisit the 97-line Itaewon scandal because not only have they been receiving a lot of backlash, but I have been receiving a lot of backlash as well for having quote-unquote spread misinformation. Now, I will have you know that I will not be defamed on this platform. Again.
cockatoo.
Hi, welcome to my totally legit news show. You should subscribe. So the major backlash that I received from my last video was the fact that I said club when everyone else was saying that they actually went to a bar. Now, I was sent a source from SBS that on April 25th into April 26th, the 97 line went to a pizza place, and then they went to a bar. But then they went to a place called Boom Bar, which is kind of like a bar slash club. Now, the distinction between a bar and a club to me seems a little bit irrelevant, but it was a point that was brought up a lot in the last video, so I decided to look a little bit into it. And it does seem like the line is a little bit blurred in this situation because on this place's Instagram bio, it says that it's a lounge bar, but then there are photos that say that it's a lounge on the weekday, but then during the weekend, it's a club. You know, this place does indeed have a bar area, but they also, host DJs and host parties. But quite frankly, regardless of linguistic disputes, it's ultimately unimportant as many people have been pointing out that these idols are influential figures and should have been social distancing as suggested by the government at that time. Now, when people do bring this up, it is met with a lot of backlash and criticism from fans because from the fans' perspective, these idols did nothing wrong. They were allowed to be out. The bars, restaurants, clubs were all open. So yes, bars, restaurants, clubs were legally allowed to be open. And I've also read a lot of comments and spoken to some people living in South Korea, and the consensus is that people were all pretty much on the same wavelength that things were slowly going back to normal. And I mean, of course, the average population was not anticipating a second outbreak, especially since the country had been handling the entire situation very effectively. But I'm no epidemiologist, okay? The whole point of me covering the story to begin with was just to spread the message that we should eat the rich. But I digress. The 97 line were allowed to be out. However, whether or not it was socially responsible for them to have been out and about is a completely different question. Though our governments from varying countries might be like, oh yeah, everything's fine, things are going back to normal, I think it's very valid for people to question whether or not said governments value profit above everything else. It's like the rules of capitalism. But on that same note, it's understandable to feel a certain level of confusion towards a government that is preaching social distancing while simultaneously opening up places that aren't really cut out for such practices. Again, can we really demonize them for going out when they were legally allowed to go out? I mean, that's definitely a gray area for a lot of people. They are idols who have been promoting and have to an extent profited off of projects related to social distancing. So yes, there are some people who are upset in that regard. But were they legally in the wrong? No, of course they were not. And you can use that point to defend them with every inch of your being. But the truth remains, through the statements from their own companies as well as 2 handwritten letters, we see that they have admitted to making a mistake, and we see that they are regretful for having made that mistake. They have admitted to not having followed social distancing recommendations by going out to whether it be restaurant / bar / club, just going out in general. But a lot of people are still trying to defend them, but not my circus. But the thing is, that's really just the surface of it all. And I'm so sorry for not having gone so in depth. So here it is. A lot of people are pointing to a much bigger issue. So basically, South Korea does contact tracing. So people who go out, for example, to a bar would give their name and phone number to be able to be contacted in case of anything. So basically, the people who were out in the nightlife around that area from a certain period of time were contacted and told to get tested. And even if those people have tested negative, they were still suggested to have a 14-day self-isolation period. However, both Jaehoon from NCT and Chaeonu from Astro were still seen doing promotions within that 14-day time period. So yeah, people are also upset about that. And yes, I heard you. There are a lot of people pointing out how ridiculous it is to blow this so out of proportion, how we're so focused on these 4 idols just going out for some pizza, even though describing it as such is a tad bit reductive, when there are more important issues at hand. So I've seen a lot of people express that this has been blown out of proportion solely to take our attention away from the Nth Room scandal. Now, this is just hearsay. This is just what I've read in my comment section, so take that with a grain of salt. But people have been pointing out that it's a little bit shady to release the names of these idols a month after the fact, as well as around the same time that, you know, suspects have been named for the Nth Room scandal. There are also a lot of people pointing out how this story overshadows a much bigger issue within the second wave that happened in Itaewon. And that is the issue of the already present homophobia that has been exacerbated by the second outbreak, and having such an outbreak associated with an area that is so rich in LGBT culture. Now, I'll leave some links down below that will explain this a lot more in depth. This goes way beyond K-pop news. I mean, in all seriousness, I'm sorry that I didn't cover it as in depth as I should have. I added, you know, a very lighthearted twist to the story, so I'm sorry about that. However, if you're angry because you're mad convinced that your idols are above making mistakes, then they're like, what? I mean, at the beginning, everyone was like so adamant that the story wasn't true. People were defending them tooth and nail, and then they themselves admitted to it. Their companies admitted to it, and then everyone is still like, well, their companies are talking out of their ass. They shouldn't have to apologize because they did nothing wrong. Like, the narrative is constantly changing. But I also understand that people will always fight tooth and nail to, you know, quote unquote, protect their idols. However, I will make a much bigger effort from now on to deliver better news. Or whatever the hell this is. Like, I don't think people offer much commentary when they tell the news. And that's pretty much what I do. Okay, let's move on to Agust's comeback. How do you even pronounce that? I just say Agust. Agust? Whatever. Suga made a comeback with a new mixtape, D2, and he came out with a new music video. Now, I knew in my heart that he was going to make a comeback because when I was scrolling through my recommendations, you will not believe what popped up. But the song was released so quickly after this that I couldn't really tell you my prediction, but I just want you to know that I can tell the future. Also, Big Hit is watching us. So I actually Googled the meaning of the song's title because never heard of it before, and according to someone from highnative.com, it is a large marching band for kings in the Joseon dynasty, but take that with a grain of salt. There are My point is, there is a lot to unpack from this music video, you know, within the music video itself, within the lyrics itself, and I'm not the person to do that. But I think it's DKDK TV that do the series like insert name explained by a Korean. I've seen a few of them, like Tweet by Hwasa, and I think even Dang by BTS was explained by them, and I thought that was very, very informational. Yeah, that's a word. So if they do decide to tackle this, it'd be super interesting because there's a lot of symbolism that I'm sure goes over my head. You know, there are some things that I could understand, like references to popping pills and money, which, you know, I get a little bit iffy around that stuff. It's not my favorite thing, and I feel like I get shit on a lot for bringing up elitism within K-pop lyrics because, you know, my faves do it too. But you know what? Eat the rich. But honestly, the title of the song, there's a little bit of singing at the beginning, and it really reminded me of Suga and J-Hope's song, Otsukare Sama deshita. But I can no longer not make that association between those two songs, so you're welcome if I ruined your life. Okay, let's move on to some fun things that have happened in K-pop recently. So HONGJOONG from ATEEZ released a cover of Michael Jackson's Black and White. I really loved his rendition of it. I understand, like, I didn't grow up on Michael Jackson, so I know that if I did, maybe I would feel a certain way, because I feel, you know, when G-Idol covered Fire, I felt a certain way about it. I don't know. Any Michael Jackson fans, like hardcore Michael Jackson fans, what did you think of it? But I mean, regardless, I did really like this song. I loved, the modern twist that he added, his own twist that he added, specifically with the rap. I also love the effort put into it, the DIY clothing, the whole 9 yards. I think it's really cool to see the creative process. We also have MINZY, who has released her song Lovely as I'm uploading this video, though today is Saturday, so I actually haven't heard it, but I'm sure it was lovely. Go stream it. So TWICE have also released more concept photos for More and More. And now it's not entirely looking at all like what I predicted in my video, but you know what? Jungkook is wearing entirely black and she sticks out like a sore thumb. So, I'm thinking there's still room for some darkness within here. Which, I mean, part 2 of TWICE prediction comeback video. What? Part 2? Anyone? But also, as I'm editing this, they released a trailer teaser, and I was ready to change the entirety of my predictions, but then at the end, you see the screen kind of turn to this red tint, and you see a snake, and I have so many theories, and I can't wait to talk to you guys about them. Okay, so the last thing we're going to talk about is Blink's being mad. Again. Whoa, the shadow. I don't know if I like this setup, but there's plants, light sticks. I don't know. Is there ever a time when you guys aren't mad? She says while being angry, while having a Blackpink light stick in the background, while also having uploaded 1,000 videos about how mad she is. No, I get it. I see you. Don't worry. Now, I mean, you can accuse me of not covering this story adequately because, I mean, Blinks are mad. What kind of sources do you want? Just go on Twitter. It's a perpetual issue. But regardless, let's give a little bit of a backstory. So Blinks have been waiting for over a year to have a Blackpink comeback, and the comeback has been pushed back, a few too many times. In fact, there has been so much backlash for having their comeback pushed back that people have, trended hashtags demanding that Blackpink leave YG Entertainment. Okay, right? We all remember that? Flash forward to now, we have a confirmed comeback. Kind of. Like, we have a confirmed comeback, but the dates are super fishy. And just everything just screams fish. But that's not entirely why Blinks are in the news again. Blinks are in the news because they are mad about Treasure. YG announced that one of the members from Treasure is going to have a pre-debut solo. And then I also read that Treasure will have 4 songs consecutively until the end of the year. So of course, if you go on Twitter, you'll see responses like, wow, he's getting a solo before Rose. And Blinks are just doing what Blinks do best. Some of them, I'm sorry for generalizing. But some Blinks do take things too far. Refer to video A as evidence. This member's solo has been in the making since way before Treasure was even created. I mean, he's been training under YG for 7 years from what I've read. He won Kpop Star Season 2 in 2012. So they thought it would be very clever to release music that was already prepared, which is so funny to me because you're not gonna have me believe that Blackpink didn't have a full album ready already. Like, I don't buy that for a second. However, the solo is just supposed to be a gift for fans, and it won't be promoted, in the typical way on music shows, as if that will calm the impatient. But you know what? It actually is pretty smart. Hit you with that pre-debut hype. 21 before their debut released a song called Lollipop with Big Bang. However, the extra smart thing to do would have been to release a pre-debut song for Treasure with Blackpink, or to have a pre-debut song with Treasure, Blackpink, and Big Bang. 3 birds, 1 stone. But Toto, I have a feeling we're not in 2nd gen anymore. But from a marketing standpoint, it does make sense. Treasure need a debut like this. Blackpink at this point in their careers can get away with giving you absolutely nothing. YG knows that you guys are wrapped around their fingers. We all are. But let's just see. Maybe in 4 years, Treasure will be in a similar position. Maybe they will be releasing 1 song every, year and couple of months. Let's bet right now, and then 4 years from now, we can look back at this video And either I'm right or I'm wrong. I'm also predicting, this is really harsh, but I'm also predicting that in 4 years, Blackpink is still gonna only have one full-length album. I'm so sorry if I'm offending anyone. But alas, thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and since you made it all the way this far, you might as well click on another one of my videos, and you can also check out my second channel or follow me on Instagram, which is at Mullocksenses. I don't fucking know how to pronounce it because it's in a dead language. I'm gonna get going. Yeah. Bye.